and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. A few of our tractor services include bush hogging, disking, and rototilling. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
What are you doing this Saturday, October 16th? Well, how about joining the elite climbers for a rec and competition climb? Or just come out to watch this exciting event. Of course, there'll be food vendors, plus live bands, a kids splash pad, bouncy houses, kids climb, games, and more. Yes, it's fun for the whole family. If you want to compete, it's only $50. Most everything else is free. That's this Saturday, October 16th at Lake Lillian Park in Bellevue from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yep, it's something different.
Now you've done it.
That's right. It's In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. 622-9622 is the number to call if you have any questions. You can also go to the Facebook group page, In the Garden, Ask to Join. She monitors that during the show, too. Ask your questions there. Or if you're lucky enough to have my personal cell phone number,
then you get it that way.
You can get it that way as well.
Yeah, and I have people who, I get some independent calls myself, and then those who find me down when I'm at work, which is always kind of fun.
You ran into some people that are
they actually
loyal listeners.
They were loyal listeners, and
to the legends, by the way.
Yes, to the legends. Yes. It was the other day, and it was funny because it was right at the end of my day, so I have to apologize if my brain wasn't working all the way. I get a little ADD when I start getting tired at the end of the day, so I lose track of what I'm doing, and so I go all over the place. So hopefully they'll find that. I know I told them about the In the Garden page. Hopefully they'll come and join up, and that was another reason why I added the planting chart there, is because a lot of people do ask me, what can I plant right now? What can I do? I mean, right now it's like, okay, I'm thinking I need to get some cabbage and broccoli plants myself, and I can't wait till the onions start to come in so I can plant some onions, but my beans are starting to make green beans. My squash has got flowers on it. The one plant has been all male flowers. It's like, oh, come on now. I want more than just flowers.
I want to plant roses, daylilies.
I don't see you wanting to plant roses.
Roses, daylilies, and sunflowers. Is this a good time?
Roses doesn't matter. Daylilies, if you can find them. Sunflowers, I'd wait till spring.
Okay, there's not a chance in hell
No,
I'm
that
planting
you're going to do
those.
any of those. No.
No.
Sunflowers are kind of fun. You just got to realize when you plant sunflowers, if you plant them too close to your vegetable garden, you are inviting
All kind of
all
varmint.
kinds of pests into your garden, four-legged ones, because they want those sunflower heads and
Oh,
that
yeah.
and the squirrels don't care if they. Squirrels are stupid.
They're not bright.
They are not bright. That's but you'll see a sunflower plant barely out of the ground and they eat the top off it. It's kind of good. It didn't have a flower yet.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're just going to eat it. And
You know
it's
how
like-
I know squirrels are dumb? I saw a squirrel one time.
Now some of them are smart because I got a smart squirrel one too.
I saw a squirrel one time. And at the time, Bear was my black cat.
Okay.
And Bear was every bit of 15, 16 pounds.
big cat.
Big tomcat.
Yeah.
Out in the backyard, squirrel decides to jump down on the cat.
It's an attack squirrel.
It jumped out of the tree, and it must have been a parent that was worried about,
Right,
springtime.
right.
But it jumped on the cat. Well, if there were babies up there, they were one parent down.
Ooh.
Because Bear shook it
fast
off.
it-
Shook it off. The squirrel was kind of looked at him, and then Bear just attacked
attacked
him,
him, yeah.
and the squirrel was done.
Right.
Had to go get Bear checked for rabies and everything.
Make sure the cat's okay, but the
I
squirrel's
saw
over the fence.
I saw the squirrel just jump right on his head and then die, and I went, well, that wasn't very smart, squirrel.
Yeah, could have. Yeah, who knows what that was thinking? But no, I've seen one, or the squirrel story, the smart squirrel story, which we all have them with the bird feeders and things like that, where they can outsmart squirrel-proof feeders and the comical ones that people build to watch the squirrel go through the clear tube and tilt and this and that, and that they figure them out. But the one I had was there was a piece of plastic, like a sheet of visqueen for the yard. It was covering up some wood, and this squirrel had grabbed it, was going to take it up the tree. Well, it grabs it and starts up the tree and slips and falls. And then it looks at the tree, grabs it, and starts at an angle. Still manages to step on it, slip, and fell, but it had gone a little further up the tree. Third try. Squirrel grabs that piece of plastic, that piece of visqueen, and goes around
Circling
the
the
tree and pulls it up like a ribbon around the tree. And that was probably the first squirrel nest that was waterproof, but
Well,
got up the tree
didn't like
with
rain.
that. Yeah, got up that tree with that piece of with 3 tries. So I mean, some of them are they
figure
do
out
learn.
they
do
figure out where
learn.
bird seed is.
Yes, they know where the bird seed is. They know that sunflower plants will make something they want to eat. It's just let it grow.
You know what they're after right now is I was riding at Ocala Golf
Okay.
Club, riding around with a buddy of mine the other day, Jason Linhart, actually,
Okay.
the GM. I'm riding around with him, and I look over and I go, well, must be that time of year, because there was 8 or 10 squirrels lined up, and they were sitting there chewing the green shell off the pecans that had fallen earlier.
Oh, okay.
So there's a big row of pecan trees that protect part of the golf course. It's like
That and all
10
the
trees.
that and the pine cones.
They'll throw
'Cause
pine
I'm
cones
coming-
at you.
The pine cones at my house are all littered all over the sidewalk, and it's like, okay, you're
A
doing
squirrel will
this.
throw those at you.
Yeah.
You stay under a tree, they'll throw it at you.
They'll throw acorns at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they used to torment my dog as a child, and it was like, oof the dog.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Hey, morning, Sonny.
Calling. I have 2 crepe myrtles in the backyard, and you heard me talk about them before.
Yeah.
The crepe myrtle trees, one has these little sprouts coming up where the base of the tree is, and it just keeps like sprouting. To me, that's not good for the tree. I tried cutting them. It seems like the more I cut, the more they grow. I was just wondering if there's anything I could do to get rid of them.
I don't. Okay. I was just going to say, I don't believe that we have anything we can spray on that tree to stop those water sprouts that excuse me, do come down there at the base, especially when you've got a nice single trunk or double trunk coming up. You don't want it to be a bush. We've talked about this before. The only thing I've heard, whether or not it's honestly true, is that if you take your shoe, or possibly even say like the back of the hatchet or something like that, instead of chopping them off, breaking it off with like just raking your shoe down the side of the trunk of the tree and breaking those off versus clipping them. Seems like clipping them, you clip off one and you get four. But I believe that what I've heard, whether or not it's wives' tale, I'm not sure, but just taking your shoe or something and breaking those pieces off is what seems to stop them from being as productive.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Sonny.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is a problem with crepe myrtles.
It is. You get the little water sprouts, and sometimes they'll even come up in the yard, and that's not necessarily from seed dropping. That's a root is up near the surface of the ground, and so a sprout manages to come up. But yeah, I've heard how well it works. I don't know. I've not really tried it myself. I've just always just cut things off and then deal with them. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. I mean, I've got the little oak trees that grow around my oak tree, and that my mower actually fits between the
Weed
roots,
eaters
the
will get those
surface
too.
roots. Yeah, but
Weed eaters will get those pretty good.
my push mower will go right up in there.
Good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh.
I just can't get through a Wednesday or Tuesday here without talking to you.
Well,
There's always something that you help me with. Now, the newest thing here is I went out and bought some new bed sheets last week, and I've got the old one. I thought, I don't know if I should throw those away. I'm going to ask Caroline if they would be a good, like a thermal blanket for my Hawaiian tea when it gets frosty out this winter.
Oh yeah. That's a perfect way. Is to use use the older the old bed sheets, and they're usually big enough that you can double them over. You just make sure that you get yourself either, use a spent palm frond or a bamboo stick or something that you can put in so that it doesn't lay right on top of that plant. And yes, you can use it. You can take and wad some up at the bottom of it to keep it the ground area warm, and throw one over the top, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I've been saving all kinds of long sticks to support whatever. I was going to go to Lowe's and buy one of those regular, things for protecting your plants.
Right.
But I thought, maybe I could use my bed sheets here, because they're good size and not heavy, and they would probably work real good if they would protect them.
They do. It works fine. Yeah, just don't want them to touch the plant material. So yeah, they're fine. Another thing I like to say to folks is, when you're thinking about how many plants you may have to protect, bales of pine straw or things like that. We don't usually get too much regular straw on because we don't grow those cereal grains here in Florida, so it's very expensive. But pine straw, you could keep it, you could put it in a bag, just leave it as a bale. And then when it's cold out, you can set those bales on the ground between the plants. They're going to help hold heat. And then, we get a week of warm. You can pick them up, throw them back into your big hefty, your big garbage bag, set them back in the garage, and then just, use them over and over again. And they'll hold the heat down in the ground, help to keep some of that temperature on some of your little more sensitive tropicals.
Yeah, I when I moved to my place there at the old place, I never had to cover anything because everything I had was it was good with colder weather.
Right.
But I had this Hawaiian tea here that I never had before. It's a beautiful plant. I just took for granted that I could take because it was when I moved here in October last year. It was really healthy looking. And I think, well, it must have made it through last winter and everything. But boy, the frost got at it and knocked it down. But boy, they came back nice. I got one about 3 foot high. The other ones are about maybe 2, and they really look healthy and good. So I'm going to make sure I cover them up because they're really a pretty plant.
Yes, they are. And yeah, see, they will come back. And if you protect them, that just makes them survive it a little easier, a little less stressful to the plant, which adds to the longevity of the plant. So, and if you're not, if say you have don't have pine straw as your mulch, say you have a wood mulch, you can just get a couple bags of mulch and lay them, or even just open the bags. I know I used to do a little bit of side landscape stuff, and one lady had this one climbing vine that we knew the vine was going to die back in the wintertime. And so as soon as it really got that first really good hit and knocked it way down, I cut it all the way off and I dumped a bag of mulch right on top of it. Just the whole bag right on top. Kept the rest of that warm, and then in spring, soon as it was staying warm enough at night, I just pulled that mulch back into the bed the rest of the way, and all the sprouts were already a good 8 or 10 inches long, and so we get them trellised back up and going.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad I saved my bed sheets, and I knew I had to talk to you about it. Now that I'm going to protect my Hawaiian tea, and everybody's going to be really happy here.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Thanks.
What is a Hawaiian tea?
Hawaiian tea, Hawaiian tie. It's a Dracaena family plant. In the Dracaena family, it's a tall plant with red and like red, almost like a burgundy or a port. Port red? Is port red? I can't remember.
Port is red.
Port is red, yeah. But because I was going, wait a minute, port and starboard. I always have to. That's how I remember my red was the one side. That it's got kind of like that color in the leaf, has some green within the leaf, and it's just more over a tall, tropical-looking plant. They can be used in the house in a pot. They can be planted in the landscape here, though they are a little bit of a tender tropical. Yeah.
I know that plant.
You know that plant. And there's a lot of different varieties that I think most people just clump them in together.
This says Cordyline fructosa florica.
Yeah, okay, so that one's the florica one. Yeah. And then there's Hawaiian tie, then there's Hawaiian boy. There's a few different varieties, and they're all nice. They all have some of those reds and pinks and greens in there.
Very vibrant greens too.
Yes. Yeah.
There it is. There's another
there's another variety. Yeah, all kinds of different varieties of them. Some are more suited for in the house.
Wow, it's the mature ones I'm seeing here online. The mature ones sell for like $50.
They can if you've got a big one. Yeah, if you've got a large one.
4 foot tall mature one.
Yeah.
$50. Wow.
Yes. And yeah, we even had gotten some in that were in great big 6-gallon pots, and we're pretty close to. They were either $40 or $50 when they came in back in spring. But yeah, that they're
but
nice.
They are
plant.
sensitive to the cold.
They are
They're
sensitive.
Hawaiian.
They are sensitive to the cold. I mean, they're house plants in many parts of the country.
Right.
So they can tolerate those kind of conditions very easily. We can plant them outside and just have to give them a little extra care. Yeah.
Now, what is with the bed sheet? Because it's not a thermal blanket.
No.
But the bed sheet, 'cause that's what we use.
Right.
Explain to people why bed sheets, even when they're thin bed sheet,
right,
it still works because it's not so much keeping the plant 20 degrees warmer than outside.
Right.
It's to keep it a little warmer than the outside air, and to keep the frost from
settling on top of it. That's why we don't want it to lay on it. Is that any moisture, anything, the dew, we get dew even when it's going to get cold. That's what causes frost. And so you want it to TP over it so that it's not laying on the plant material, because wherever it touches, it will freeze and cause damage. It keeps that frost from settling. That's why sometimes pulling a flower pot up under the eave of the house is enough to protect it, because it keeps that frost from settling down. But we make our frost blanket, our sheets, our old towels, whatever, come all the way to the ground. We're actually holding that radiant heat from the earth in underneath there, and that's keeping it 2 to 3 degrees warmer than the outside temperature.
And that can make all the difference.
It can make all the difference. You figure if it goes down to 30 and you've got it at 33 underneath there, you are above freezing underneath there. And even most of our plants will tolerate a light that lower temperature down there to 30, 31, 32, 28, 29. for short periods of
Anything
time.
under 28 though for more than 2 hours is deadly.
Is going to be it's going to be dangerous to your tropicals, to your hardier plants, hardier tropicals. It's going to cause damage, but they usually will recover from it. Even the Hawaiian ties, even the crotons, our hibiscus, they survive it. They just get very, very upset about it, and
You know, it has to be the hardiest plant, and I'm sure it's probably a weed,
Right.
but it's got to be. Is every year, my whole plant life revolves around my golf course. Okay?
Right.
Okay. My wife
Right.
does the planting at the house,
Right,
and that's
right,
great.
yeah.
But my plant,
your exposure is on the golf course.
is on the golf course.
Yeah.
And on number 4, which is a par 5, there's a creek that runs down beside it and then dumps out into a pond.
Right.
Well, in that creek, get massive. And when I say massive, if they don't cut them back, in the heat of the summer during the rainy season, they could be 6-7 foot tall.
The elephant ears?
Oh, huge elephant ears.
Yeah.
But then you see that first freeze come
And then,
through,
poof, they're just
they're
mush.
brown and mush and dead. And then come May,
But they
there come
have
these huge elephant ears again.
they have a huge bulb underground, and that's just energy. It's
And it's
solid.
in the creek bed.
and
That
it's
bulb is
so-
in the creek
right.
bed.
And so it has plenty of water, and it has no issue. That our ground does not freeze,
Right.
So we don't have an issue with that being
I
being a
mean, just
problem.
massive. And every year they die. You know, it's when you see that's how I gauge when
It-
winter,
how
winter really
cold,
arrives.
How cold did it really get? See, I do too, but and I have some small ones in my yard. I'm trying to nurse them to get some size to them, but it's like I've reclaimed them.
If it's killed the elephant ears,
Yeah.
it got cold.
Yeah, but there's some in some protected areas in my neighborhood. One guy actually has them lined on his front and down, I guess, part of his driveway area. And so if his get hit, because he's also got some tree cover, and then the other ones are on a wooded area, if those get hit, I'm going, yeah, that got cold.
Well,
Because they're protected.
That brings me to the next question. Somebody asked me in my neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I would ask you, and this was 2 months ago, and I forgot all about it because of the ADHD. I
Right,
got.
yeah.
But it just registered again.
Yep,
'Cause
something
of
clicked.
you just
Yeah,
said,
something
just
clicked.
registered. And we have a lot of live oaks in
Okay.
our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like in my front yard, I have a big live oak
Right.
that my mom sits under. She gets partial
Right,
sun,
right.
but she doesn't get major
Yeah,
sun.
yep.
And this live oak is probably 3 or 4 feet above my mom is where the first limbs start.
Okay.
And it's a very thick live oak. So
Okay.
when it rains, unless it's a gully washer, you can stand under that live oak.
And not get wet. Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
That's why mom, it has to rain for quite a while for her to
Right.
get the water out of the oak
Right.
tree without having to water.
Yeah.
Is she pretty, and it's not just my mom, but
Yeah.
other people have the same
Right,
issue.
right.
Are the plants that are underneath these trees, do they still need to be covered, or is that oak tree presenting
they're
enough
protected.
frost?
They're protected pretty well, so long as it doesn't lose bunch of that canopy, in
Oh,
the
it's a
winter
thick
time.
canopy,
Yeah.
and it does not.
But so long as it's
It
holding
starts
its
losing
leaves,
that canopy, literally
Yeah.
that tree about late
March,
February.
February, March, yeah.
Yeah. When it's
So-
starting to warm up.
Right. Well, yeah, late February, yeah. But yeah, underneath those trees, I would still just on some things that are more sensitive or that you would not want to lose.
Oh, mom's coming in the
Yeah,
garage.
it would come in the
Okay.
garage. But other things, usually they're pretty good because, again, that canopy stops that frost. If you ever look around some of the big horse pastures where those huge trees are out there and all the grass around them is dead, but underneath those trees it's green
Yeah.
because it has protected that from the frost.
Oh, okay.
So they
they'll
do have
right.
quite a bit of protection from that tree.
Because we have 2 big trees in the backyard too
Yeah.
that are so thick that it's difficult to get the backyard in some areas to grow because sunlight's
Because
hard to
there's
get in
just
there.
no light. Right.
Right. But during the winter, things underneath them will be protected properly.
Right.
Because we have a set of bushes that surround the water pump.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're red tips.
Okay.
And I know red tips are hardy plants,
Yes.
but they can get damaged because up in Georgia, red tips, when it gets below freezing, people have to cover their red tips. And stuff.
Okay.
These red tips never suffer, but they're
Right.
underneath that oak tree.
Yeah, and that our temperatures don't get down there normally and stay.
Right.
Not normally. It happens, but not on average. Our average winters, it's always one of those things. I always say our winters are actually worse than places that get snow because we bounce. We sit there like a rubber ball
Plants
going
don't know
up
what
and
the hell's
down.
going
No, they go dormant for 4 days, and then it's 80 degrees, and next thing you know, the bottom falls out, and it's 27 for 3 hours one night.
Somebody goes, why are my azaleas blooming in December? Because it was 87 degrees for the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
But it was cool.
Right.
It was cool for 2 weeks before that.
And so the azaleas thought it was time to wake up.
Yep. Yeah.
And
And
then
that's
they
what
get-
throws our peaches, our pears, things like that. Also, that they're blooming in January instead of March, and then we get that late frost the 1st of March, and it knocks out all the fruit. So, you got to make your selections on those on your
What are you
chill
saying,
hours.
Carol Ann, that we live in a schizophrenic area?
I would say Mother Nature really needs to stay on her meds.
Little bipolar here in Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that whole peninsula thing just throws things off.
Have y'all transitioned at the big box store now to full-on winter?
No.
You're starting to see it transition?
We're starting to get some of it, but because it is as hot as it is, I'm glad I have not begun to receive
'Cause they
some
would
of
die.
those. They would die. You'd buy them, they'd die. We did get the first 2 shelves of petunias, and I think my customers have listened to me because I think I still have almost 2 shelves of petunias, and they came in last week. So
They're not ready to go in the ground yet.
yeah, I think you could get away with petunias just so long as you're watching and not over-watering them, because everybody thinks, oh, well, it's wilting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's because it doesn't like 80 degrees.
No, it doesn't like 88 degrees
Yeah.
and 75% humidity.
Right. But usually, if you're putting them in planters and things like that where you can control or keep them in a little more afternoon shade for at least for a few weeks, you're doing okay.
So petunias, don't buy them yet. That's what she's telling you,
I'd
folks.
hold off on petunias and stop asking for pansies, because I probably won't get them till sometime in December. They won't take for you, and you wait. I hate to see people waste their money.
And look,
Yeah.
don't buy seeds, folks.
No, you
Buy juvenile plants and put those in the ground.
And right now, you're not going to find seed for anything, but all the seed companies, if you're looking for seed for your stuff for next spring, go online. Find your favorite seed company, order your stuff. They'll send it to you. They don't. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Just buy juvenile plants.
Yeah. Not always.
Buy young plants.
Yeah, I like to grow from seed. It's fun.
Cut the X into black paper. Just put them in the dirt. Just put them in the dirt. Carol Ann, where can people find you?
They can find me on the In the Garden Facebook group page. Just ask to join, and I'll get you on board. And they can also find me down there at Lowe's and Lady Lake.
Lowe's and Lady Lake. Carol Ann
Yep.
Baldwin. She ran into 2 people who were very loyal
Good
listeners
listeners, yep.
to Larry and Robin, the legends,
The legends
of the
yep.
morning here in
Yep.
Ocala. Carol Ann, thanks so much. We'll talk to you
My
next week.
pleasure.
Coming up next, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. It's auto repair with personal care with Sunrise Auto with Matt Gibbs next, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Retailers around the country are warning Americans the supply chain crisis in America is not going to get any better anytime soon. Basic Fun CEO Jay Foreman on Fox News says shop now or regret later.
Start to put your Christmas list together and holiday list together early. Get those must-have things now, because they definitely will be in short supply, because we're seeing a shipping crisis like we've never seen before, and it's not going to get any better for the next 8 or 10 weeks.
President Biden assigned a task force by DOT Secretary Pete Buttigieg to find the problems. The secretary's focus is on Indigenous Peoples Day, as his tweets reveal. 2 election workers in Fulton County, Georgia, have been fired after they were accused of shredding hundreds of voter registration applications. On Monday, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is asking the Department of Justice to investigate. USA Radio News.
I'm looking forward to a play date with my granddaughter.
I can't wait to get together with my friends for a backyard barbecue.
If you're 65 or older, you're starting to get back to doing things you love. Did you know even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia? It's a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13 valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Ask your doctor or pharmacist today about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com.
How to plant and care for an iconic houseplant. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
I was probably a little bit like you. There was a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. I didn't know what to believe, and I tell you, everyone has an opinion. Some of my friends got vaccinated and some were against it. But I knew this was an important decision, so I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. It's your call, so talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. That's getvaccineanswers.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Whether at your local green market, corner grocery store, or neighborhood restaurant, you're supporting your community when you buy local.
Food grown right here by Florida farmers doesn't need to be shipped as far.
That saves fuel and cuts emissions.
Buying local is more than just supporting area businesses and growers.
It's buying fresh, wholesome, and delicious food for your family.
Products you trust from people you trust.
Fresh from Florida.
Good for the environment.
Good for the economy.
Good for you.
If you want to try an iconic houseplant that is hard to kill, philodendrons are perfect for the houseplant growing beginner. Philodendrons, otherwise known as sweetheart plants and heartleaf, grow naturally in tropical rainforest environments. They suit most home environments and grow well with little attention. In USDA growing zones 9 through 11, you can grow them outdoors. There are around 489 varieties and 2 growth habits, climbing inviting or upright. The best temperature for growing philodendrons is above 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Use good quality potting soil that will hold moisture while draining away excess water. The pot should have good drainage. You can prune your philodendron anytime. Whether you have your plant in a hanging basket, on a table, or trailing down a bookshelf, a quick prune now and then is good for it. Like many indoor plants, philodendron may be toxic to animals. Make sure your trailing plants don't hang where a playful animal will think it's a toy to be played with. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be partly sunny with a thunderstorm around this afternoon and a high of 86 to 89, then clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 71 to 73. Wednesday will have sun and some clouds. The